What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from the Harpoon Brewery, and they are out of both Boston, Massachusetts and Windsor, Vermont, and this is their summer style, the 2024 release. So they're calling this one a Hazy Blonde Ale that comes in at 5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review. I don't know exactly how old this bottle is because it has a bottled on code that's a bunch of numbers and letters, and I'm pretty good usually with deciphering codes of beers and Julian dates and everything. However, really couldn't figure this one out. However, I will say that on their Instagram, they did post on May 1st that they're releasing this one. So I'm actually reviewing this one towards the end of June, which means that this one is around approximately 2 months old. So never had this one before. I know they've released this one in past years, and based on what I could see on their website and on tap, they used to call this one a New England Blonde Ale, and they changed it to Hazy Blonde Ale. Very similar descriptions. And on the side of the neck here on the label, it says Harpoon and Life is Good have brewed this collaboration to spread good vibes all summer. It says celebrate the love of beer, sunny days, and a hoptimistic life with this blonde ale. So I think Life is Good is an American lifestyle brand and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, I picked this one up because it's been a while since I've had a Harpoon beer, and it's a summer release, and we'll see how this one is. So throw this one over here. Is that skunky? A little bit skunky. That's weird. I don't get that. Anyway, we'll pour it into the Sam Adams glass because why the hell not? Okay. I was going to go crazy aggressive with the pour, but then I saw the carbonation. I was like, we better rein that in a little bit. Okay, so yeah, the carbonation's very lively. You can see, I don't, look at the fucking carbon. I don't know if you're going to see that in the glass, but the carbonation is fucking like a volcano spewing out. That's crazy. It's been a while since I've had a carbonated beer to that degree. All right, so we got it all in. Do a little bit of cheat here. So what the hell's a Hazy Blonde Ale or New England Blonde Ale? I would imagine it's like a slightly hop-forward blonde ale. Probably some good citrus and stone fruit tones. I don't know. Don't really know. There's not much information on this beer as far as hops and stuff, so I don't know. So in the hashtag not proper glassware, we have a Hazy Blonde Ale. Has about a 2-finger of this really soap sutty looking head. It's bright white. It's definitely hazy. It has a hazy straw golden color. Tons of carbonation. This has the etching at the bottom to promote the carbonation, the nucleation, as they call it. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, there's just fucking tons of carbonation. That's kind of wild. So I'm expecting a very spritzy beer based on what I am seeing. I mean, again, I think it looks like a nice beer for sure. It's just that carbonation kind of worries me to some degree. We'll see. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a skunkiness. I don't. There's no way this beer was struck. I bought this in a I'm pretty sure this was in a Wegmans mixed 6-pack that I bought, and those are kept cool. And I picked one from the back, so it wasn't like it was hanging out in the light. So I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of skunkiness. Outside of that, it has a nice biscuity kind of crackery malt sensation. It kind of smells like a New England pale ale or a session IPA. You get the malt base is a little bit bigger than if you were drinking a 6.5, 7% IPA, but it does have citrus. There's a lot of pithy grapefruit in the nose. It's not a sweet grapefruit. It's not a sweet orange, but definitely more pithy, rindy kind of citrus characters. Maybe a touch of a peach or some kind of nondescript stone fruit. Yeah, not a ton of flavor. Doesn't smell bad outside of that skunkiness, which is kind of dissipated as I go back in for more. Anyway, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it reminds me of a New England Pale Ale. Not a great one, a solid one, a decent one. The malt character is definitely prevalent, is noticeable. I feel like a blonde ale, usually I get a biscuity malt character. They're pretty well balanced. This one is, picture a solid, decent blonde ale with a little bit more hop character, and that's what this beer is. Body's lower side and medium, 5%, that's fine. The mouthfeel Now you're going for a hazy blonde ale. I would hope the mouthfeel would be a little bit more softer, smoother, and creamier, and it's really not. It's moderate carbonation, so it's definitely crisp. It does have a smoothness to it, not really creamy though. So the mouthfeel for what they're calling this, whether you call it New England Blonde Ale or Hazy Blonde Ale, I'd want a little bit more of a smooth, creamy character, not really getting it. So I think the body's really nice, the mouthfeel a little bit lacking. The taste is very simplistic. Forefront, biscuity malt. Dives right underneath the palate, omnipresent, never steps in the way. You kind of know it's a blonde ale, or like if I was doing this blind, I would definitely say it's like a New England pale ale. Kind of in that realm where it's like, you know it's lower ABV. You can taste the malt, but then there's a nice hop character over top of it. Tip of the tongue right after that malt character. Maybe not tip of the tongue, maybe like a third of the way through the palate. Again, pithy orange, like an orange peel, an orange rind, pithy grapefruit, like a white grapefruit. Midway through the palate, I get a little bit of orchard fruits, like a pear, like the skin of a pear, but then a touch of like an underripened like white peach. And then in the finish, this actually has a decent bitterness. This is mild to moderately bitter, more approaching moderately. Take it back, right in the smack dab middle of mild to moderate bitterness. It's also semi to full on dry. So this beer isn't too sweet. You could drink a ton of these at 5%. It's pretty well balanced. I'd say the best thing about this beer to me is the body and the balance of it. Like, it's not too sweet, it's not too bitter, it's not too dry, has a pretty good balance from that aspect. And the body is crisp enough. The body is, again, lighter side of medium. So it's not watery, makes you want to go back for more, at least I do, because I feel like I am drinking a beer as opposed to some kind of like watered down grossness. And a lot of times, beers, for me, can go sideways because of the body of the mouthfeel. Now, the mouthfeel isn't spectacular, but it's not detracting from the enjoyability of this one for me personally. However, it's not that great, the mouthfeel. So the body is a win. The flavors are okay. They're solid, they're decent. The balance is what really gets me here. 5%, you really can't tell. I would say with this one, for me personally, I think the price point on this one and the availability is probably what would win a lot of people over. I'm drinking the Sam Adams glass, and it's kind of in that realm where like you could pick up a 6-pack of this or a 12-pack, or if it comes in a variety pack, and I don't think you would hate it, especially if you don't mind like hop-forward beers to some degree. But this is a little less flavorful than like if it was called a New England Pale Ale or a Session IPA or something like that. And it's also, I was gonna say it's also not as flavorful, but I don't know. I don't know. I think this is solid and decent. It's just not blowing me away. So yeah, Summer Style, the 2024 release from Harpoon, their Hazy Blonde Ale. Rating on this one, I'm gonna give this a high 3.5. I'm gonna go 3.55. I think that's the best I can do on it. Like, it's all over the place in terms of what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy out of this one. If I had to break it down, I think the body's pretty good for what it is. I think the mouthfeel is lacking. I think the characteristics in this one are appropriate for what I would deem a hazy blonde ale to be. But at the same time, there's not a ton of flavor here. It's just very easygoing, very light. You could drink a bunch of these, and it is what it is. Now, here in the Western New York area, I think these are like $10.99 a 6-pack. I didn't really check for 12-packs. Or like if you can get a case, or if they are in variety packs. So, it's your kind of run-of-the-mill I'm reviewing this as a shelfie beer for the month of July 2024, and I think it's kind of in that realm. 10, 11 bucks a 6-pack. You're not going to break the bank. I don't think this is anything amazing. I think it's fine. But would I go back to this as a summer seasonal from Harpoon? No. I'd rather drink like their winter warmer in the winter. Like, they have better seasonals, in my opinion. But I feel like, for me personally, a lot of breweries, a lot of bigger like regional and national breweries, their seasonals are hit or miss, and more often than not, they're miss for me. I'm not saying this is a miss, but if I never had this beer again, I don't think I'd be disappointed in the least. However, if you like blonde ales, or you like, again, like hazy / New England pale ales, try this one out. Especially if you want something a little bit cheaper that you're not going to break the bank for, and you could throw this in the fridge, and if, let's say you cut the grass and you're like, I want something with a little bit of a hop character, you could just easily chug this and you'd be no worse for the wear. So yeah, anyway, 5%, like I said, can't really tell, whatever. Yeah, if you've had this one before, whether it's this year's release or prior releases, let me know what you think about it. I think it's decent, solid for what it is. It's just not kind of blowing my socks off, and I've had much better beers from Harpoon. So yeah, anyway, we're going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.